Hey, it's Jilly. Want to know how to reduce shedding on your heavy-coated dog like Huskies or even German Shepherds? I'm getting ready to show you how to do it yourself. This is Simba. He's a Pomsky. He's a cross between a Husky and a Pomeranian, although his coat is much more like a Husky's, so he sheds a lot. So the first thing you want to do is blow out any of the undercoat before you do anything. You can get a high velocity dryer. You can shop my Amazon storefront. The link is in the description. This removes impacted dead undercoat, and it also releases the dander that is trapped up against the skin. In just a second, you're going to see what I'm talking about when I talk about the dander that is collected up against the skin, which prevents the shampoo from getting all the way to the skin. See all that on top of him? That's not just fur, that's dead skin cells. So removing that will significantly help your dog to get cleaner. Next, make sure that you have a sturdy table. If you're doing this outside, you can even have a picnic table, but also just have a designated spot in your house for grooming. Here I also have a soft paw mat underneath him, which gives him a little cushion and some comfort, and it makes it anti-slip, which definitely helps them feel more secure on the table. The first thing I'm going to do before the bath, I use what I call a dirty blade, or a blade that I use on dirty coats. The blade isn't dirty, it's been sanitized, but I wouldn't want to use a clean, fresh blade on a dirty coat. So this is what I use for prep work before the bath, and I sanitize it after every groom. So I am gently, with my 5-in-1 clipper on a 40 length, taking off the fur on his paw pads. You can see where I flipped my clipper over, and I tapped just in front of the nails to remove that hair. Now, this is my Dremel, and it has a diamond head on it, which lasts longer than the sandpaper that usually comes with them. You want to make sure not to lift the leg in an uncomfortable position, and you want to use tapping motions rather than applying a steady pressure to the nail, because it will heat up and that's uncomfortable. Simba's a little ticklish on his feet, so if he puts his foot down, I just pick it back up. You can see from my handling, I've got my arm over his body, and I've got him at a height that enables me to do that. Now I'm moving on to the other paw. Since I just did his nails on the other foot, I'm just going to go right over, keep this tool in my hand, and do his nails on his other back paw. Do one nail at a time. Take it slow. Again, you do not want to put steady pressure, or you will create friction, heat, which is uncomfortable. And you take off just as much as you can before you see the quick. You can refer to any of my other videos on how to find the quick when doing your dog's nails. And now I'm just trimming a teeny bit up the back pad there, trimming off the pads so that he's not carrying a bunch of dirt into the house. And here you'll see where I flip my clipper over, and I'm just tapping right underneath the nail to get any hair that might be there. And now I'm moving to the front. So I just scooch back a little, bend his paw back, cleaning off that foot again, getting rid of that hair. It's the same method for each paw. Since I had my clipper in my hand for that last back foot, I just kept it and went straight to cleaning out the pads on the front foot. I'll do his nails in just a minute. Flip the clipper over, tap right in front of the nail. Now it's time to Dremel those. You can use nail clippers if you want. I have other videos in my collection where you can see how to use a nail clipper rather than a Dremel, but I find the Dremel with the diamond head to be extremely effective and much quicker, and it doesn't bother the dogs nearly as much as that pressure and clicking sound. So now he wanted to sit, so I'm just adjusting, making sure he stays comfortable, allowing him to sit. No big deal. And remember always to check for a dew claw and get that done as well. Which is what I'm doing here. Keep your energy calm. If you expect them to freak out, they're going to freak out. If you expect good behavior, you'll get good behavior. It's all about energy with dogs. Again, since I have the Dremel in my hand, I'm going to do the other front paw, and I've gently crossed it under his body to give me easier access rather than leaning over him or changing sides. It's just right underneath him. I can see. I'm dremeling his nails. One way to determine whether or not you've come close to the quick is to take your fingernail, and when you see a little bit of a circle in the center of the nail, if you use your fingernail to press on it a little bit, if it's hard, you can take a little bit more off. But if it feels like a gummy bear consistency, you're right before the quick and you're going to want to stop. And that's how it makes it easier to find the quick on dogs with black nails as well, which is another reason why I prefer the Dremel over nail clippers. If their nails are incredibly long, I'll start with the clipper and finish with the Dremel. Always make sure you're giving praise and be very gentle. You don't want to nick the paw pads. You're just cleaning them off. Now it's time to address the butt. He's got a little bit of buildup there. So I'm going to be skimming, which means I'm not applying full direct pressure against the body. I just need to clean off the dingleberries that he's got on his butt. So I'm going to scoop those out. I can use the corner of my blade here just a little bit. And as a courtesy to your groomer, please make sure you check whether or not your dog actually does have dingleberries, because it is a health hazard to have that in the air, to breathe it. Then I'm going to need to sanitize, of course, the blade, my table, and everything else. Again, no direct full pressure to the rectum or the area around it. I am gently skimming off some of the hair so that it doesn't get caught in between his next groom, but it usually does. But like I said, as a courtesy to your groomer, check your dog's butt before you bring them in. If you're doing this yourself, again, be extremely careful. I'm not pulling his tail, I am gently lifting it and sculpting out just a little bit of a pathway on that booty. Now it's time to sanitize my tools. This is the Andis Cool Care Spray. It's a disinfectant, an antiseptic, and it also can be used to cool down blades when you are shaving a dog. I'm also sanitizing my Dremel. I do that in between each dog. You want to make sure your tools are clean. I'm wiping off my clipper, making sure to use a brush here to get out any hair and to make sure that it is ready for my next dog. Now it's time to clean off my table. I had sprayed some of the Cool Care onto my table because it's a disinfectant as well. I am cleaning off that paw mat. Make sure your dog is secure on the table. I'm right next to him, and he's a very well-behaved boy who knows what to expect from me. And he's very comfortable with me. I know this dog won't jump off the table, but you should stay extremely close. Okay, now it's bath time. I'm going to prep my shampoo. I'm going to use Hydra's Detox shampoo for him. He had so much dander. And this is a 4-to-1 dilution ratio. I use a car wash mixer. So I put a little bit of water and then I put my shampoo in here. Right now I'm just using water so that I can get him wet all the way down to the skin. You gotta get close. You don't want to get it in their ears or their eyes, or the side of their nose. I use my finger to block the side of the nose. I always start with the face. Nice warm water, loosen up all that dirt and dander. He's a good boy. I'm gonna take the lead off of him for now. I usually use iGroom's Deshedding shampoo, but I'm gonna give him a detox. So a little skin boost. First I'm gonna do his face. I'm using the iGroom, it says tearless facial shampoo, but there is no such thing as tearless anything. Back up. We're gonna let that sit till I get the rest of him wet. You've got to use your hands to make sure that they are wet all the way down to the skin on these heavy coats. Your hands are your most important tools. Thank you for the kisses. And I do a pre-rinse because I want that dander off. You can see in his prep work, I use an old blade. I don't use new blades when I do prep work. That's before a bath. So that's an old blade that I sanitized after I did his paw pads. And I skimmed around his sanitary area. He did have some poop stuck to his butt. Ready to turn? And this is rinsing off all that dander I loosened up, especially around their butt where it's really thick and their tail. You want to make sure that they are wet to the skin. Turn. Turn. Good boy. Now I'm going to turn on my shampoo, get it right into his skin, and it mixes. This car wash nozzle allows you to mix it, the water mixes it right with the shampoo. Boy, see, he knows the drill. Lifts up his foot. Wash those paws. Now I can get the inside of the opposite legs while I have him in this position. Already so much coming off. Clean out your drain. I can reach I can feel with my hands that the shampoo has reached his skin. So doing that pre-blow just allows the products to get right to the skin. Turn and do the other side. Good boy. Okay. So now this is mostly water, so I'm going to do a quick rinse. Thanks. Thanks, good. Oh. Okay, so now I'm going to switch it to just water, and I am going to switch this to flat. And start loosening up all the extra shedding. This works as well as a savior for a nozzle, but I still want one more shampoo. a second shampoo. With it on the flat, so it pushes it right up against the skin. I've already used my hands on the first one. You can feel that product is all the way through the coat at the skin. Okay. Good boy, turn. Good boy. Out, and then I'm going to add some water. I'm going to prep my conditioner. But I'm going to turn it to water only now and do a rinse on the flat nozzle. Get all the shampoo out. Good boy. And you wash the ears. Gotta pay attention. Start from the head and let gravity do the work. Again, this is just water, but my conditioner is in here. Turn, bud. Good boy. Yes, you know what's up. It just helps all that coat slide right out. flat nozzle on the heavy coat. He's a Pomsky, but this works on Huskies, Shepherds, Newfies, Bernese Mountain Dogs, Great Pyrenees, Samoyeds, any of your heavy-coated dogs. There's no point in using this on a smooth-coated dog like a Rottie. You could just use the regular shower setting. With the flat, it really helps to remove a lot of excess undercoat. Okay. Clean up some of this hair. And then I'm going to spray the conditioner in with the flat nozzle. Use my hands, make sure I feel it everywhere I want it. Yeah, on this side he's got conditioner everywhere. Hands, I can feel it getting right to the skin. Now I'll just keep going until I run out of conditioner in my little mixer. Okay, I'm going to let that set a second. Switch back to water. Rinse this out. We sanitize that after. While the conditioner is sitting on every dog, I do ears. Let it sit for a minute. This is a great time to clean ears. Look at all that. All right. Come here. Let me go get a little. Okay, I use a towel with my ear cleaner. Most important thing is to remember, you can use cotton balls, but you clean the inside of the ear leather, that little flap. Use your finger. If you hold the ear straight up, that straightens the canal. Use your finger. He's got nice, clean ears. Now that I'm going to do the other side of the ear, I'm going to use a different side of the towel, a totally different place. You never want to use the same cotton ball or area of a towel in the opposite ear because they each are their own ecosystem and you can transfer bacteria from one ear to the other. You're not quite done yet, sir. Now that ear has a little bit of dirt. We're not done yet. That ear has a little dirt in it, huh? All right. Now it's time to rinse, and I'm using the flat nozzle again. This lead so that I can make sure I get everything off. Again, let gravity do the work. Start from the head. Pushing the product out, away from the coat. Also pushing that extra undercoat away and out this way. Getting a proper rinse on all dogs is very important. You don't want to leave any product behind on the skin because that can cause irritation, hot spots. So the rinsing out all product is very important. See here how it's pushing out all that hair? And I can feel, using your hands, I can feel the conditioner's gone. You can feel where it's still a little silky. I haven't rinsed yet. If he wasn't groomed regularly, I probably would have blown the shampoo in with my force dryer to get it against the skin, but he is groomed regularly. So but if you get those dogs we don't see very often, blowing in the the shampoo with your force dryer, and then even blowing in the conditioner after you rinse with a force dryer is also a really effective way of getting through these coats. But using this car wash nozzle allows me to use the force of the water to get them right against the skin. You ready for this? The Simba does not like to be shedding raked very much at all. So getting out as much as I can using other tools is super important. Just gotta rinse that butt. tail. Feet. Making sure all that conditioner is out. And while he drains here a little bit, I do a little tub cleanup. He's going to drip here for a few minutes, and I'm sure he'll shake, and then I'll towel dry before we move to drying. So those are my steps to a bath on a heavy coat. And I would do the same steps on a regular coated dog. I just would use the shower setting, but the flat is great for heavy coat desheds. So just rinse the tub again, and there's more. Letting your tools do the work is super important. We will clean and sanitize our tub later. And now it's time to start drying. So first thing we're going to do is squeeze. Do a little squeegee action. Beep, beep. Squeeze out some of that water. Dogs get rid of about 70%, so they say, of water when they shake. But the towel dry is the most important part of drying and the biggest time saver. Letting them shake. Sorry, I don't want to get... Towel dry really, really good. Oh yes, do that booty shake. You feel good. This foot. Come here, we're not done yet. Come here. Keep switching spots on your towel to the dry areas. Rub, rub, rub. I don't rub like this on long-haired dogs, but for desheds, yes. I'm going to be more gentle on dogs that grow hair if they have a longer coat, because you'll just tangle them up. But for this guy, trying to get out as much water as possible. You gonna shake? Aye. The other towel go. Oh, sir. You certainly got a bunch of water on my floor. Let him shake, let him shake, let him shake. probably use 3 to 4 towels on a Husky, but he's like a mini Husky. He's a Pomsky. So, you know, that will also come out when I use my force dryer. Girls, that's enough. Come here, you. Okay, now it's time to go to the table. Okay. So I have sprayed Simba with a conditioning detangling spray, and I'm going to take him outside today because it's beautiful outside and I have a grooming tub outside. I'm going to dry him outside because even with all that shaking, see all this coat? Because he's shedding so bad, it would just destroy my salon. So I'm going to be smart and I'm going to dry him outside. I don't know if I can get any footage of that, but I will try. But those are the steps in my bathing process. Okay, so I have my booster bath out here, and so I had to charge my phone a little bit. So I want to explain that when drying, the most important thing is to dry from the skin out. All right, I'm going to show you this in a second, but here is already dry. See how nice and separated all of that is? All right, you want to use your hand while you're drying with the nozzle with your other hand to, you'll be able to feel when the water stops coming off the skin. And back here, where I haven't dried yet, I'm going to show you where it's still wet. You can see that it's very clumpy at the skin versus up here, where at the skin it's all nice and fluffy and separate. That's dry at the skin. Up here, back here, it's still wet and it's all clumpy. So the most important thing is to dry from the skin out. So I'm going to turn on my dryer, and I can only do this with one hand. Up, turn. Good boy. Here you'll be able to see how the hair is so clumpy against the skin. That means it's damp. It's super important to watch every hair separate individually. So you're going to stay in the general area until you see that coat separate, and you'll know it's dry from the skin out. Ideally, I would be using my other hand to feel whether or not water is coming off the coat, but I can also see with my eyes that it's still very damp. So as I'm holding steady here, I'm watching the skin, I'm watching all the hair separate. If you look very closely, you're going to see more hair flying out of him. Wiggling the nozzle like that also helps to loosen up the hair and to separate it. You could also be using the flat nozzle that comes with the dryer for this type of drying, but I prefer the pointed nozzle for deshed. The flat would be great for a retriever, for example. So I wanted to show you, brought him back in. When I dry, I use my hand as I dry, and I can feel the water come off the skin onto this hand. And I stay in that area till I feel it stop. And I move around the whole dog. And you have to make sure you get the private areas, the base of the tail. Everything needs to be dry. You can't leave damp skin, or that's going to cause hot spots. It can cause bacteria and fungal growth against the skin. And it's not a proper deshed to begin with. His chest is actually still a little bit damp, so I'm going to do that for you. So now that he's dry, I'm going to do my finish work with my shears. These are my Utsumi 67.5 EV blenders. And I'm going to use my Utsumi Eco 2 to fluff him up and trim him. And I'm just going to trim around his paw pads as well. This is one way you can do it. I'm going to double check underneath. Make sure I got everything before the bath. Make sure there's no sticky outies. And then to trim around his foot for a nice tidy foot, thank you. I'm just tapping my 5-in-1 clipper on a 40 blade. And then you can gently skim. You're just taking it light. Just to skim off those longer hairs on those front legs. Or you can use your shears. Come here. A couple longer pieces. I need my clean one. This is my clean clipper for after the bath. Just skimming a little, get a few of those stray hairs. I'll scissor that. Edge the foot. If you hold the opposite foot, then the one you want to work on will stay on the table. Thank you. I can use my Utsumi Speedies to blend this in a little bit. Where I see I need it. Girls, stop. Simba does not like an undercoat rake at all. So I use my comb to go through. You still need to make sure you double check your work. And that. I'll be out in a minute! Jeez Louise. Can't get your comb through any dog after a bath. From the skin out, your job's not done. Ruby, that's enough. Finish work. Always remember the tail, please. Everybody forgets the tail. You have to comb it. You have to brush it. You have to dry it. You have to bathe it. Everybody forgets the tail. Okay. So I'm going to fluff him up. You can see he's got some sticky outies. Just fluffing that up. Take my blenders. Gently holding his tail up. Blend into his sanitary area that I cleaned up earlier. Can I have my comb, sir? You're in a perfect position, don't move. Stay. He's half pom, so some of his undercoat or guard hair grows and some doesn't. He gets these weird little sticky outy spots, but most Huskies you wouldn't need to trim. But a pom you definitely would. Look at him from both sides. I'm sure it looks nice when he lifts his tail. Check his underline. Trim the stragglers. Almost done, bud. He's done. Now a mist of the Hydra Detox Cologne. Just a mist. And a cute little accessory. Sit. Sit. And what a handsome boy. What a handsome boy. All done? Yes. Click the link in the description to shop my Amazon storefront.